Welcome to Crystal Waters Permaculture Village. Crystal Waters is a sanctuary nestled in the bush-covered hills of the Conondale Ranges, near Maleny in southeast Queensland, established for the exploration of living more consciously and in harmony with the land and its wildlife. A former cattle grazing property, Crystal Waters is now home to 83 households, approximately 200 people, assorted domestic animals, and a growing population of native wildlife. It is a place where agricultural land and environmental assets are being preserved. This introductory video will give you an overview of the many facets of Crystal Waters. In this presentation, we will touch on property layout and the use of the land, innovative housing design, responsible water usage, care for our natural environment, and the people who live here. Crystal Waters is an environmentally responsible rural subdivision established in the late 1980s. It was the world's first village to be designed according to Permaculture Landscape Principles. Permaculture works with nature to produce a more sustainable environment and productive agriculture. An eco-village is an ecological settlement where business, agriculture and human activity are designed to integrate with the natural surroundings. Crystal Waters aspires to apply the principles of permaculture within the eco-village framework. We are proud that the groundwork of the designers and the follow-up by residents led to the Crystal Waters Village being acknowledged by the United Nations and Building and Social Housing Federation for pioneering work in demonstrating new ways of low-impact, sustainable living. The ethical basis we aspire to involves caring for the earth, care of people, and dispersal of excess. Crystal Waters is a beautiful 640-acre property bordered on two sides by clear crystal streams: Scrub Creek leading into the Mary River and Kilcoy Creek. From fertile river flats, the land wanders up ridges and gullies into the high forests above. The diverse microclimates created by the landscape have resulted in growing conditions for a surprisingly large variety of fruits and vegetables. The climate is subtropical, having mild, dry winters and warm to hot summers. Crystal Waters is less humid than the coastal region due to being situated over 200 metres above sea level. During the short winter period, we can have occasional frosts and misty mornings clearing to bright sun-filled days. The average rainfall of about 1,300 millimetres occurs mainly in the wet season, between January and April. During this time of year, we can have dramatic storms and lightning displays. Privately owned land takes up 14% of the total property, while the community cooperative controls 6%, set aside for business ventures and a visitors' accommodation area. Common land for agriculture, grazing, forestry, wildlife habitat and dams is managed by the body corporate and makes up the remaining 80%. The deliberate design of the property protects areas of sensitivity and sets aside land for specific purposes. For example, the rich river flats have been set aside for agricultural use, while also acting as a valuable buffer between human settlement and the riparian zones along the river and creeks. Other information, such as the lay of the land, existing forests, and movement of water, influence the design. This process clearly defined the areas remaining for housing lots, which were sited on the sides of ridges, between which dams have been constructed, all linked by roads that, where possible, follow the natural contours of the landscape. The distance from the village centre to the extremities of the property, combined with the undulating nature of the countryside, ensure that the car is relied upon heavily. Despite this, many enjoy walking and cycling. This reliance on motor vehicles is compounded by the nearest regional centre, Maleny, being 30 kilometres away. Carpooling is a regular feature of our way of life. Household lots were selected according to certain additional criteria. Some of these include northerly aspect for solar advantages, slope of the block for drainage, ease of access, suitability for building, and size and shape to maximise the use for structures and gardens. It is a reflection of the success of the design that most lot owners believe that they have the best site. A number of other landscape design features are evident when travelling around the property. Telephone, reticulated water, and most of the power were placed in common underground trenches to reduce the impact to the land and lower development costs. The access drives weave their way around the property, sloping slightly to the right than the left, dispersing water evenly over the landscape. Dam spillways are incorporated into the road system, and the road-based construction material came from within our property. The dams are important for climate control, recreational uses, agriculture, and increasingly for bird life and native animals generally. It is a pleasure to sit under the shade of a tree and enjoy one of the many watery views. Water management is a major focus for our village, and we take this responsibility seriously. The body corporate manages a reticulated water system where each household is allocated up to 1,000 litres per day. Water at mains pressure is provided through a gravity-fed system from water storage tanks high in the hills. The individual manages water wisely by catching and storing rainwater, recycling grey water, and shaping the land to absorb runoff efficiently. We are a community spanning all generations and from some 15 different national backgrounds. Most of us have been attracted to Crystal Waters to experience the community lifestyle or to experiment with sustainable living systems.
I love living at Crystal Waters because of the sense of community.
Because it's so peaceful and quiet here.
I love having a chance to grow my own food as well.
Work and live in a beautiful environment.
To be able to experiment with sustainable farming techniques.
Not everyone here has the same mindset, but to some extent we all have a particular goal that we share.
The main reason is I like community life, without fences.
Residential lots have been positioned in small groups or clusters in order to encourage neighbours to work and play together. Cooperative facilities have the function of bringing together people from the wider community. Many enjoy circle dancing, musical evenings, meals together and social volleyball. Crystal Waters has strong associations with the local township of Conondale and Maleny, where a range of social, cultural and schooling options are available. Some residents operate businesses at Crystal Waters, while others work away. These businesses include eco-design consultancy, building construction, gardening supplies, organic food, health and healing, and educational services. Crystal Waters also boasts fledgling enterprises, which include the Village Organic Farm, incorporating a seasonal biodynamic dairy, and a wood-fired oven bakery, which makes a wonderful range of healthy breads and pizzas. Many residents are actively involved in our community life. This is borne out by the establishment of an enthusiastic and effective rural fire brigade, and many community activities such as working bees for the construction of numerous cob ovens, work on community buildings, and the development of extensive walking tracks about the property. Through the body corporate, we also manage our roads, water supply and common land. There are a wide variety of dwellings, ranging from rustic cabins to substantial houses. Timber, whole frame, brick, mud, straw bale, and rammed earth are all used, often with passive solar designs. Within the framework of the Council Building Code, most home builders have employed some level of innovative and imaginative design, chosen recycled or sustainable building materials, and utilised non-mainstream construction techniques. Several houses use renewable energy, such as solar energy for electricity, and many have solar hot water systems. A wide variety of domestic water treatment systems are used throughout the property, including wet and dry composting toilets. Many residents have designed their gardens using permaculture principles. A typical design includes the concept of zones. Starting at the house, we have herbs and picking greens. We then move to the vegetable patch, where we grow using organic principles. Crop rotation, non-hybrid seeds, companion planting and natural fertilisers. Animal and fowl integration often occurs in the orchard zone, situated a little further from the house because it is less frequently visited. Many orchards and vegetable gardens supplement the residents' food supply, and what could be nicer than organically grown fresh produce on the dinner table? The The most significant change which has occurred at Crystal Waters in the transformation from farmland to the present has been the tens of thousands of new trees which now cover much of the former cleared land. Natural regrowth due to exclusion of grazing animals, extensive planting of riparian zones and roadsides, and the planting of woodlots has greened Crystal Waters. Trees are being grown to supply future needs for food, firewood, cabinet and construction timbers. Many Crystal Waters residents are passionate about their trees. The careful design and management of the property has resulted in Crystal Waters becoming a sanctuary for birds, animals and people. This is supported by community bylaws such as no cats and dogs and no undesirable chemicals. The replanting of the habitat and the many new dams provides forage and a safe place to live. Thus the native wildlife is abundant. While walking about the property, your senses will be activated by the many songs from the birds, the sight of the friendly kangaroos, and the pleasant scents of the natural bushland. At night, the wetlands are alive with the calls of frogs. Many people find their spiritual freedom expressed through this connection to the land. Crystal Waters embraces the permaculture belief that small settlements can provide healthy lifestyle, where we can maintain clean air and water, and where food production is not so separate from the consumption. Because of the way our property has been designed, and the ethics and belief of the people, Crystal Waters is a wonderful environment in which to live. While it is still early days in the development of the village, we hope Crystal Waters can offer some inspiration and act as a catalyst for change.
There is a place where you can go to get some rest or see a show. I live there in that place that continues to put a smile on every face. The sky is blue, the grass is green, and no one here is at all mean. This place is my home and I love it so much that I hate to go. The water is clear and so is the air. It makes people want to give a hug and share. The people here are all sons and daughters. The place we live is Crystal Waters.